Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar here in beautiful, sunny Saskatoon. We're ready to get going here, and my name is Peter Bindle. I'm the sales marketing specialist here at Vendasta, so I am the one that helps get all of the collateral that our sales team needs. So today, we're going to be talking about improving your social media marketing. And kind of the sales talk track around how you want to position this to small business or to your business potential clients. So, the first thing I want to start off with is kind of the idea of we are very social people. So we as humans, it's our nature to talk amongst each other, share things, and that's part of why social media has become such a big thing. With the advancements in technology, we now have this device in our pocket where we can talk amongst each other, share information, and that has really made social media to be quite a big thing. And how much of a big thing is that, though? Well, the average person spends 1 to 40 minutes on each type of social media. So this is kind of the Twitters, Facebook, Snapchat, those types of social media. But the thing is, this is 1 to 40 minutes on each of those, not combined. So that really amounts to an average of 2 hours for the average person on how much they're spending between all of these different types of social media. And what I found out is the average amount of free time for a person on a workday is approximately 4 hours. And I kind of thought, that seems like a small number. So then I looked at my own day and found out that I, in fact, had, I think it was like 4 hours and 12 minutes of free time. So about half of our average free time during the workday is being taken up by social media. So how do we make sense of social media? How do we go about selling social media to businesses, or even how do you use social media for your agency itself? Well, we're going to address that, and the way we're going to do that is kind of by understanding our clients' problems and really asking ourselves the question, do we understand what our clients or our potential clients are facing? Do we understand their problems? And we're going to look at a few examples here, and this will help you better position social media marketing to them. But also, those are some tactics that you can use yourself. So you have all these people and they all like talking amongst each other. They all have cell phones. So everyone's in on the conversation. But how do you get a piece of that 2 hours of average screen time? Well, first off, you're going to want to be having a conversation here. And when I say have a conversation, I don't mean spewing a bunch of information about all these great products and social marketing techniques that you have. That can overwhelm them. And I know I'm very much guilty of this. When I have something I'm really excited about or want to share with someone, I can end up just talking a whole bunch and not really having that conversation, letting the other person talk. That's why webinars are such a great thing for me, because there's not much back and forth. But when you are talking to a client or trying to sell something, it really is important to have that conversation and really actively listen to those people. So what they might be saying, you're basically using the conversation to grab as much information as you can in that moment. So it might not even be, they might not specifically be telling you, I need help with posting to my social media. It might be something much more nuanced, or it might just be a statement like, it seems like people don't know what we do, or people don't seem interested in my product or service. I don't know if my social media strategy is working. They might just be saying statements. They're not even directly telling you. Some may come to you and specifically have a problem that they want to fix. Others, if they're not necessarily convinced on social media or they can't see the value, they might just be talking about it. And this is where you need to actively listen and pick out where they might need help. So we're going to focus in on a few of those statements, and this is, again, going to really help you get those, get some of that time from the social media, those 2 hours. These are kind of the ways that businesses will be able to take advantage of the rise of social media. So the first one here we have on the screen, it seems like people don't know who we are or what we do. So again, what we're trying to do here is show how your product solves the client's problem. So I'm going to use Vendasta's digital advertising as our solution here. And basically with this, so what the potential client is saying is they don't, it seems like people don't know who they are. So basically they're not getting out there enough. They're not visible to enough people. When people are searching for a restaurant or a clothing store, something like that, their name isn't showing up. They're not visible. So what Vendasta's digital advertising does is we use search advertising, Facebook ads, display advertising, geofencing, these types of technologies. And so these are solutions that you can provide your client. And obviously with search advertising, when people search for something like clothing store or restaurant, they will be able to show up there. Again, Facebook ads, that's again part of that huge 2 hour screen time. And so what you're going to want to be doing though is showing how your product solves the problem. So you can say, well, if people don't seem to know who you are, they probably you need to be more visible, and you want to be putting your information, putting your business where people are looking most. You can highlight that 2 hours of average social time, and that's why Facebook ads are so important. Geofencing, that will help you target a competitor's business. So putting that business in their customer's mind when they're shopping at a similar store. Display advertising on websites like What They Sell. These are all ways so that they can be more visible, and that way you're addressing their problem. It seems like people don't know who they are. Well, getting them visible everywhere, that will really help address their actual problem. Whereas if you're just telling this information to them, they might not be able to connect the dots on how that completely solves their problem. Sometimes it might seem very basic, but sometimes people really need that line drawn between the two. Another great example to kind of drive home the idea of advertising is Facebook posts and strategic Facebook advertising campaigns. They're relatively inexpensive compared to, say, a commercial ad or a big billboard somewhere. And the thing about a big billboard or TV commercial is it's probably not going to sell things like expensive jewelry or new tires for a car to children, but your social marketing campaign isn't even going to waste a single penny marketing to children or other demographics that doesn't make sense to. Again, digital advertising, that's going to specifically target people that it makes sense to and not waste money on big billboards or something like that. So the next kind of statement that you might come across is, I don't know if my social media strategy is working. And this is something where reporting, analytics really comes into play. And with analytics, this is something that marketers are focusing more and more on. Some are increasing spending on it as much as 40%. So the fact that Vendasta's tools, whether it's digital advertising or social or reputation management, all of these, many of Vendasta's different products have reporting already built in, so you don't even need to invest extra money in figuring out how to show the value. And while you may not be able to show each an individual price on likes or things like that, you can show that it is steadily increasing and that they are more visible. The next one is, I'm having trouble with negative reviews. And this is something that we addressed a few webinars back about how to address negative reviews, how to handle reviews. But with reputation management, that really allows you to take a look at those reviews. We have the keywords, which are positive words, which are negative words about a business, so that they can really focus in on that. But this basically is going to help them kind of control the conversation, or kind of send it on the right path. And with that, it really, you want to be having the right tone on the website. People, again, on social media websites are going to be looking at this stuff. So you want to make sure part of social isn't just those social media sites. People get very social on Facebook when they're looking at reviews of businesses. And that means if you have a negative review, people can dogpile on that. So something like reputation management will let you kind of have a look, see what those reviews are looking like, and you'll be able to go ahead and respond to those. The next, my customers don't seem interested in my product's brand or service. And this is, again, building on that idea of being social. And you're going to want to have a conversation again. This is something that you might want to ask them is, are you asking for reviews? Are you communicating with your customers? Something that very often can happen for very big companies is they might seem faceless. If they're not responding to reviews, or they're not interacting with their customers in some kind of level, they might seem very faceless and cold, and you end up not feeling part of a community. Well, the same thing can happen even for smaller businesses, local businesses. If they don't show up anywhere on any social media, they can seem like they don't care, or that they're not active in the community or active in general. It might even give the impression that their business is suffering. If you don't see anything active, it doesn't look like there's any current activity, that they're still in business even. And so this is something that you're going to really want to ask if they're asking for reviews, and they might say they're not. So something like this, really, you can provide a solution with something like our review widget. And this you can put on their website, and they will be able to solicit for reviews. You can send out emails to asking for those reviews. And then this allows them to first, if they don't have any of that conversation happening, they can get those reviews, and then they can respond to both negative or even positive reviews to show again that they're active and kind of up that social media game, so that on their Facebook, things like that, they are actually visible and can be seen online. Now, the last thing I want to mention here is, again, our digital agency. So if all of these things like providing digital advertising or review management, even listings, or if they don't have a website to put that review widget on, we can help with those things. Our website creation team, they can help build a website. It's a service that you can provide. You can provide building those websites and then adding that widget on if they don't have a website. These are all things that can be done to help with social media. But again, the big thing is to be having that conversation and looking at how our products and services, whether it is social marketing, digital advertising, even just something as simple as a review widget. It's really listening for those opportunities and where that business may be struggling. And then from there, you will be able to provide a solution that really is catered to your client, and not just giving them a wall of information where they have to kind of connect those dots themselves. So now I'll open it up to any questions. Anything you have to ask, we'll take a look and see if there's any questions here. So how can I acquire emails for prospects if they are not found online? And what's the best alternative to contact them if you send a snapshot report? With this, that's probably a question that your partner success manager can help with, especially as it is geared more to prospecting. But just a quick suggestion there. It may be down to actually calling those businesses, seeing if you can get those email addresses, but talking to your partner success manager, and I can get you in contact with them about this question. They can provide you with a little more detail on a solution for prospecting to clients. So you shared an example of geofencing as using it to target a radius around your competition. What about a geography around the customer? I assume it can be done. That is something that we can talk to our digital ads team with. I can get your partner success manager in contact with you. But as far as you can choose actual locations. So with that, again, it's a kind of deeper conversation, but we do have a lot of flexibility on where we can target. So I'm seeing here often, so Facebook ads allows you to target based on email, but many people don't use their business email for their Facebook account. And so any suggestions with finding their information without manually searching? Now, that definitely is tricky. And again, that kind of comes back to the previous thing. It might often be a manual process. If you have some kind of form for people to fill out on your website, that's if they're coming there. But really, it might be searching. You can talk to your business commons or kind of business association, see if they have some contacts. But it can be a very manual process. I have one here. How difficult is it to install the review widget? We actually just released a new review widget, and this one is a lot easier to install. I'll get you in contact with your partner success manager, and they will be able to help you with that. It's now able to be done right within the partner center. Before, it was something that you actually had to talk to your partner success manager on, but now it's a lot easier to set up here. So I have a question here. What if a client has a good score on the snapshot? How do you upsell products? So this is actually a great question. It's something that does happen every now and then. Is you do have a customer, and because we're kind of talking about social media here, I'll use social media as an example. So say you have great reviews, all of the scores are positive. So that's great, but a question you might want to ask is this being managed? Do you have someone looking at this? And more often than not, they'll say no. So this is an opportunity for you to provide management of social media, because that's great. You have this amazing score. You want to keep it. People might say, oh, we're dealing with it manually ourselves. Then you can kind of speak to how much time it takes out of their day. Lots of business owners are extremely busy, and while they might be succeeding at their social media, it might be taking up way more of their time than they want, or it might be taking up one of their employees' time. So being able to free up that time managing their social media, that's another great opportunity. So a positive score doesn't always mean that you're completely blocked from upselling anything. It's looking at a few different ways of how to position it, kind of their time. Time is money, very common thing, but also wanting to maintain it, not lose that positive score that they have maybe worked very hard to achieve or might have by luck. So the snapshot report does cost $2, and it is often offered for free. But with that $2 cost, comparatively, the cost for acquiring a customer, $2 is comparatively quite low. When you think about all the different options for prospecting to clients. So it is an expense, but much more minor expense, especially with how much information you're getting there and the multiple different ways that you can talk to the different points, whether they're positive or negative on there. So I'm not seeing any more questions here. If I wasn't able to answer your question off the bat, I'll be making sure that I get you in contact with your partner success manager. And even if I did answer your question a bit here, I will make sure that someone gets in contact with you so that you can kind of go over some further details and kind of build some more strategy on those. So I'm seeing some details about avoiding scam people or fake ones. We do have some measures built into the widget to avoid that. It's something that the partner success manager can speak a little bit more in depth. There's also some settings that can be adjusted to limit the chances of having any problems with scam. So that brings us to the end of our webinar today. I'll be getting your partner success managers in contact with you on any information that I wasn't able to provide right here on the fly. And you can join us next week for our sales webinar. It is also going to be social focused. It's going to be involving the idea of Wi-Fi and social being things that mix really well, and kind of a new technology that's out there. So thank you all for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.